Steve Baker.
Madam Deputy Speaker, and I stand first with my honourable friend from the Isle of Wight. We cannot neglect his constituents in the island. I fear it's gone on for far too long, and I want to say sorry to him that we didn't weigh in behind him sooner. It's just got to be dealt with, and I know my right honourable friend, the Minister, knows. Secondly, I'd like to pay tribute to the honourable lady for Bradford West. She's done an absolutely fantastic job in the last 24 hours. It's been a real privilege to work with her to secure what I think is a fantastic result. At a time like this, matters of the hereafter are very close in everybody's thoughts. As they sometimes say, there are no atheists in a foxhole, and I certainly wouldn't want to stand by and see my constituents cremated against their wishes. Nor indeed would I want to see people buried against theirs. So I really want to congratulate her. She did a fantastic job, and she did it in a wonderful cross-party spirit, which has done a lot to reinvigorate my faith in this place and what we can achieve together when we put our constituents first. So well done to her. I want to pay particular attention to the provisions relating to the expiry of these powers, Amendments 1 and 6 and Government New Clause 19. When I got into politics, it was with the purpose of enlarging liberty under parliamentary democracy and the rule of law. And when I look at this Pandora's box of enlargement of discretion and extensions of powers, I can only say what a dreadful thing it is to have had to sit here in silence and nod it through, because that was the right thing to do. But my goodness, between this and the Prime Minister's announcement tonight, what have we ushered in? I'm not a good enough historian to put into context the scale of the infringement of our liberties which has been implemented today through the Prime Minister's announcement and through this bill, which we are enacting with only 2 hours to think about amendments to this enormously complicated bill. I mean, I could speak for the time I have available several times over just on the provisions relating to the retention of DNA, which we dealt with in the Protections of Freedoms Bill. I see from the expression on my right honourable friend's face that she understands the anguish, she probably knows it better than any of us, that we're all going through in delivering this. We are, perhaps let me be the first to say it, implementing tonight and in this bill at least a dystopian society. Somebody will call it totalitarian, though I don't think that's quite fair, but it is at least dystopian. It is implementing a command society under the imperative of saving hundreds of thousands of lives and millions of jobs, and it is worth doing. And by God, I do hope that the Prime Minister has a clear conscience tonight and sleeps with a good heart, because he deserves to do so. Because libertarian though I may be, this is the right thing to do. But my goodness, we ought not to allow this situation to endure one moment longer than is absolutely necessary to save lives and preserve jobs. So that's why I have said that while I welcome New Clause 19 to give us a 6-month review, I would very much urge upon my honourable and right honourable friends and the Prime Minister sunsetting this Act, as it will become, no doubt, at 1 year, because there is time to bring forward further primary legislation. If it comes to late autumn and we can see, and God help us if it's true, because I fear for the economy and the currency, but if come the autumn it's clear that this epidemic, this pandemic continues, then there certainly is time to bring forward further primary legislation to properly scrutinise the provisions of carrying forward this enormous range of powers. I mean, every time I dip into it, I find some objectionable power. There's not enough time to do it, but I've done it there. I can glance at it and see objectionable powers. There would be time to have several days of scrutiny with a proper piece of legislation, easily in time for March, April 2021. And I just implore to my right honourable friend, for goodness sake, let us not allow this dystopia to endure one moment longer than strictly necessary.